Everybody, this is X-Wing Tactics, and in this review I'm going to go over the Decimator. VT-49 Decimator, man, the big bad ship. I think right now it's probably one of the main ships in the meta right now as far as Imperial builds. That's why I thought it'd probably be the best one to do first. So let's go through this big boy. So we have the first pilot, we have Patrol Leader, a pilot skill 3. I don't think that's very good. If you're building something else and you have some extra 40 points lying around, you could throw that guy in, and then, low pilot skill ships is usually you're not going to be able to fit a lot of ships in with the Decimator, so most likely there are only going to be a few other ships, cheap ships. So going up to 6 more points or 4 more points to get a much stronger ship. So I probably wouldn't even be using that one. Lincoln's very interesting. He's got pilot skill 4, executing a maneuver. Each enemy you are touching suffers 1 damage. So you can do that whole build with, running into them. So to start with, ship cards that would work well with that would be Intimidation. When you're touching them, you reduce their agility by 1. And Dauntless, of course. If you execute a maneuver that causes you to overlap another ship, you can perform a free action, then receive a stress. So you still get your action even though you're bumping, and you'll do damage to them and reduce their agility. So then you could, with your other ships, really kind of work on that. I think that's okay. I've seen some builds do all right with that. But I don't know. I don't think that maximizes his strengths as much as it should. I'd probably play a lot more ships with a build like this. I'd probably have a full mini TIE swarm to go along with him. That would probably work best. So you'd have, you'd have these guys, maybe 4, and really use him to kind of bump ships, do damage to them, or maybe have them even bumping into you and reduce their agility, so then you can have them do all that damage to them and hit them. So that's kind of that strategy behind Lincoln. I think it works okay. So let's go. Next one is Ken Kirk. This one's used a little bit more. And pilot skill 6, and his ability says that if you have no shields and at least 1 damage assigned, you increase your agility by 1. So, he has 0 agility, so, you'll be able to negate some damage. And along with another upgrade here, it mitigates a lot of damage. Zanazard will also give you a free evade action as long as you have no shields and at least 1 damage. So this is kind of the pair, works together. If you really feel like you want something that's going to just really last a long time, going to take them a long time to take off the table, and especially in time games, you put a lot of points on this guy, and you just play him really safe with him. And the weakness, though, to this is that first initial attack by a lot of ships. You want your shields to kind of slowly be taken away and then just get that 1 hit. What happens, I find, on this is these abilities don't kick in until you have that 1 damage, and if it's still on the same round, they can do a lot of damage to you, and they can get that, a lot of hits through that you can't even do anything about. So you have to be really careful when you're down to only that 1 shield, and or no shields, and you have no hits on you yet. That's where the most of the damage gets put onto him. Then after that, you can last a little bit longer, but that's kind of telling strategy against the Decimator. That's kind of just how it works. You can be taken down. I've seen it a lot. Now we get to the last guy here. Rear Admiral Chernu, or Rack, and he's definitely the star pilot for this build. This is the one I see usually the most. It's the one that I play. He just works best because I put Veteran Instincts on him, and now he's a 10. So, and then you're also going to be putting Engine Upgrade on him. So these two work really well because you're going to move last, and you can use that boost most effectively, and you get to attack first. That's just going to help you so much in moving around. Because I mean, honestly, he flies like a school bus. You have no turns, K turns, and you got the one hard turn on him. So he doesn't have that great of a dial. So having Engine Upgrade on him and having him being able to move after everyone else just makes it so much easier. Because I've seen him so many times when I play the lower pilot skill ones that he gets bogged down by the other ships like a lot. And you can't have that happen. He needs to move in a way that's very dynamically, I like to say, is the way that I would fly him. It can be very dangerous. All right, other ones that I definitely now. Also, if you feel like you're going to get a lot of crit damage, you're playing against builds, you're worried about that, and not so much as far as pilot skill, then Determination can be a really good one. And the way this works is when you're dealt face-up damage with the pilot trait, discard it immediately without the sub. So that also means that, say, these are the 4 different pilot cards. So you got Stun Pilot, Blind Pilot. They do really messed up stuff to your ship. You do not want these on your ship, okay? But not only does it negate the effect, but also just completely takes out the damage. I've had it, and I negated 2 damage just by having Determination. And this doesn't come off. It's through the whole round. So you have a lot of hull on this ship, and you don't have very many shields. Once those shields are gone, they're just going to rack through that hull, and you're going to get crits on you. It happens. But having Determination can help negate that. But it's kind of a gamble. I mean, you got to give up this. So it just depends on what you think you're playing against, and you're worried about a lot of crits. So, and it also depends on what you're flying the Decimator with. Okay, and then Xanazard obviously is kind of a must have on there. It's just you're stopping 1 damage every turn for free. That's probably one of the best crew members. Now there's a bunch of other crew members that you can use. Also, if you want to go for more hitting power, then you can go with Predator. But I feel like you have target lock and focus boost. I guess it would work well if you felt like probably work really good against a swarm. If you're playing a swarm, then you're probably gonna have to boost a lot to get away from this massive block of fighters coming your way. You always want to boost out of their firing arc, and then Predator is going to work really well because then you can't use target lock now that you've used Engine Upgrade. So you use Predator and you'll get a double reroll instead of just 1, and that's when Predator becomes really good, and you'll get all those hits. Anything can get the dice in your favor, that's great. So this is against really high pilot ships. If you're going against Cornhorn, Whisper, and Soontir builds, ones with high pilot thing, you see a lot of those. Put Veteran Instincts in there for sure. If you're going against a lot of critical stuff, Determination. If you're going against swarms, Predator. So there you have it with the Epic, with the elite pilots. There's also the Experimental Interface combo. I've played with it a little bit, but I don't know, these cards are just so much better, and you have to give up Engine Upgrade, and him without Engine Upgrade, he's moving even slower, so that's not a good choice. I personally, I don't know how I feel about it. It works good with him because it doesn't reduce your agility any more than 0, so that's great. but you're giving up the elite and the modification for that. So I'd probably pass on that one, but go ahead and try it. You want something that hits really hard. So as far as crew members, Rebel Captive is usually the one I would go with. He works really well with putting that stress on them when they attack you, and then it just gives them less options. Putting stress on them makes them a little more predictable with their movements, and just forces them with those actions. And anything you can do to do that, that's really good. Then there's Darth Vader, obviously. Now, Darth Vader's like, he's great because you can get that crit, but it does 2 damage to you. So usually you want to keep him on the board as long as you can. It's kind of like a suicide thing. I think he just does better with the shuttle, personally, because you're putting less points into it, and it's something you're just going to blow up. And it's really good against ships that are very evasive, very hard to get through. But I don't think you'll have a problem getting damage through with him because of who you're going to play them with. So, and I'll get into that in a minute. I'll go over the other the pairings that work really good with Decimator. Then you have Tactician. That one's great. You can build sort of a Stressimator, you can call it, and by putting in Rebel Captive, Tactician, and also Mara Jade, which will do stress anyone in range 1, and then you're attacking in range 2 and they get 1, and then him, whenever they attack you, they get stress. So you can put a lot of stress on a lot of other ships, and that can help a lot. That's going to take up all 3 slots, though. You want to keep a Xanazard in there. So this would be great right here for those 3 ships. If you're going to play the Determination and you want something to pair with getting rid of those crits, then Moff J will work really well with that, and you can discard him to flip over a critical hit, and then you can use up these and do that. So you basically, with this combo, you're not getting any crit damage, pretty much. You can negate up to 3 crits with these, and then all of the pilot ones with that. So if you're really worried about the criticals taking you down, then that's a good way to go. But I think mostly I play these. That works really well. And you can always throw in, you have extra points you want to mess around with. You think you're going into a lot of swarms, the proximity mines and seismic charges. He has a bomb slot, so you can use it. Works really well at doing that extra damage on when you have a lot of ships. You're going against swarms. You want to do a lot of damage, and you're playing a build with only 2 or 3 ships, and you're going against these 7 and 8 ship builds. That can help a lot. These aren't a lot of points, 3 and 2 points. Okay, so let's get into the pairings real quick. Wrap this up. So you got your Chernu here. You got one. This is probably the most balanced one, I think, that you can play right here. So first one is Whisper. The Phantom. People are scared to death of this ship when it first came out. They kind of nailed it down with the new decloak rules, but he's still really powerful. And with Veteran Instincts, he's at a 9, so he can outfly a lot of ships. You got fire control, advanced cloaking, and you can do, depending on your points costs, how you want to go with it. You can use Intelligent Agents or Gunner. Gunner, he's the buzzsaw. He just hits so hard. You do have to mess around with the upgrades to get the points to fit right, but any type of thing with these 2 ships, you're going to do really well. I'll get into how to flying the Whisper in another video. That's a lot. And then you got Sunter Fell, which personally my favorite because it gives you a little more points to put on Chernu. And then you put the standard upgrades, push the limit, Royal Tie, so you can put on 2 other modification, stealth device, auto thrusters. If you want to hit a little harder, maybe targeting computer. But really, with push the limit, you got all these focuses. It's pretty much fine without it. It's probably one of the best builds, I think, with Decimator. So does really well. They balance each other. He's able to outmaneuver things really well. But believe it or not, the real Admiral with the engine upgrade, you do those 4 boosts and those turn boosts, and you'd be surprised you can get totally out of arcs on ships. And when you're going against turreted ships, he works really well because of the auto thrusters. You just stay behind him. But definitely, when you're flying the builds, either with the Whisper or the Decimator, when you play these, you want to watch out for if, depending on who they're going to focus on to get rid of, you want to play that against them. So, force them to go after the one that they don't want to go after, and bait and switch with them through the whole game. And if Cinder gets blown up, you still have the majority of your points on this guy, and he can handle most any ships. If you're going against a build with the E-Wing, I don't suggest leaving him for last. If they're playing another big ship, forget about the big ship. Focus everything you got with whatever you're playing to just get rid of that guy, because you do not want him like double tapping your Decimator every turn or doing a dogfight against the Soontir. If it comes to that, man, tough. Whisper has a little bit better odds, I think, with the kind of outmaneuvering the E-Wing, but then the pilot skill, they pretty much got you there, so you're going to have a hard time beating them, so you make sure to get rid of that. That'll probably be one of the tough matchups this goes against. Okay, and then the last but not least is the basically just a little TIE swarm. So you just get I like Dark Curse. You can use Backstabber if you want that too, or if you mess with the points, you can put Howl Runner in there if you want, and then just 2 Academy pilots, and then you just got yourself a little swarm. You can technically fit 4 in there, but I think it takes away too many of the upgrades that are really important on Decimator to making him really effective. So I would go with the lower cost ones, and only having 3. And like I was saying before, you can use these little guys to just mess up the other ships. Just kind of run right into him. And then he's gonna fly past them. So that works really well. All right. If there's any other questions about kind of opening moves or how to play them with any of the builds, or you have any questions or comments, let me know. And thanks a lot, and please subscribe, and fly casual.